Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Power Rangers Season 3, Episode 45 of my show, but this is about Episode 10 in the Mighty Morphing Alien Rangers mini saga segment. Now, before I start talking about it, I just want to mention two things. First thing is, this is the last video for the entire third season. So after this, a week after this video's up, I'm gonna probably start watching Power Rangers Zeo on Netflix. Right after I rewatch the final two episodes of the third season in the Mighty Morphing Alien Rangers segment. I just wanted to get that out of the way, so you can expect videos for the Zeo series to be posted whenever I'm done the final episode for that on Netflix. I just wanted to get that out of the way. So probably the day after, but I just wanted to get that out of the way since this is the last video. Okay, but enough getting off topic. This is History of Power Rangers Season 3, Episode 45 of my show, but this is about Episode 10 of Season 3 and of the Mighty Morphing Alien Rangers mini saga segment of Season 3, and Episode 10 is known as Part 2 in the two-part episode Hog Day Afternoon. So if you guys remember back when I did the previous episode, the segment, the first part ended with the Alien Rangers trying to get help to rehydrate and stuff, because by this point, the Hydro Hog is still sucking up water with the cloud, and then basically, the young Rangers managed to get bottles full of water and like jugs full of water in order to rehydrate them. Oh, and I'm gonna get into the segment with Aiesha here. Well, because basically, I'm sorry if it seems like I'm not rushing this one since it's the last one, but it's been a while since I posted a Power Ranger video since New Year's, so if it seems like I'm kind of rushing this one, I completely apologize. Anyway, sorry if you saw that in the video, there was a notification that popped up. That's why I paused there for a second, so that's my apologies about that. Anyway, Alpha is telling, Billy's telling Alpha to find a way to get the cloud free and release the water back to the planet, and Alpha said that he's trying, but the Hydro Hog, the Hydro Hog is quicker than lightning. Water is evaporating everywhere. And now getting into the segment with Aiesha. If you guys remember back when I did the previous part of this episode, the video I did for part 1 in this two-part episode, the segment with her ended when she and Tanya started running to get to the village because it was getting to nightfall. Because they needed to get back to the village before nightfall because of the fact of the sickness making some of the animals unpredictable and stuff. That was why they were running at the end, because Tanya noticed the sun was going down, and then they knew that they had to get back to the village very quickly. And then they managed to get back to, and in this segment of the episode, they managed to get back to the village, and then the village elder that's there, basically, the village elder that's there, kind of scolds Tanya a little bit, because she says that she knows better than to be out after nightfall, and the person that is technically scolding her is Ishala, basically, and then basically Tanya's apologizing to Ishala that she was out after nightfall because of the fact that she was following that line, and then that's when Aiesha said that she met her, and then she says that her name's Aiesha, and that she apologizes if she caused any problems. And then Ishala asks her if she can look at her, and then she says that if she's looking at her, it's like she's seeing her younger self. And then basically Aiesha mentions about her mother, mentioning about her great aunt Ishala, and does she think, and then Ishala basically says that, oh, sorry if you hear this part, I just had a little bit of a stain thing on my shirt, so I apologize about that. Anyway, basically Aiesha tells her that her mom always mentioned about her great aunt Ishala, and does she think that, and then Ishala said that yes, it's a sign she is home, and then basically, and then basically Aiesha tells Ishala that Tanya told her what's happening with the animals, and then Ishala basically says that this is a difficult time for them because the animals represent their future. When they cease to exist, so do they. So will they, and then that is why she has come to guide them, to lead them from the point of struggle. She's the chosen one and stuff. And then basically, Aiesha says that she was sent there to find something, and then basically Ishala tells her that she's often called upon her own personal talisman to guide her when she lost away, and she gives it to her now in hopes that she shall stay. And the talisman that she actually gives her is her fragment of the Zeo Crystal, which is kind of funny. And because basically, that's when Aiesha realizes that that's what she was sent here to find, and then basically she's also, Ishala also says that they were told that when the time came, her talisman would protect them in their greatest hour of need, and perhaps now at that time. And then basically what happens is, then it goes back into the segment with the Rangers, and by this point, they have managed to get enough water, enough containers full of water for the alien Rangers. So basically, Zordon has Alpha teleport the young Rangers to the public pool to give the alien Rangers the water in order for them to rehydrate. And then they start drinking it, and then after they give them some of it, Tommy says that they just gotta do whatever they can to keep them hydrated. And then that's when Billy and Alpha managed to break through the cloud that contained all the water and release it. And how he releases it is by using this device that he created. He basically aims it at the cloud that was containing the water on the viewing globe, and it released it basically. And then that's when the Rangers notice about the cloud disappearing, and then Tommy says that Billy and Alpha to the rescue, and then basically Delphine is saying that, better, much better, because they're getting lots more water than just the ones in the jugs, because of the water being released from the cloud, and then, but, I can't remember which one it is, but I think it's Catherine in her kid one. She said that, oh no, the cloud's fading and the water's disappearing, and then Titus basically says that it's enough for them to finish the Hydro Hog basically once and for all. But Tanya's telling them to be careful because they aren't technically fully rehydrated yet. And then the alien Rangers morph back to their Ranger forms to deal with the Hydro Hog. And then they start fighting it again, and then after they manage to fight it, basically what happens is they manage to push it back, and then what happens is that's when Rita and Zed see that, and Zed's like, we must put an end to those meddling alien interlopers. And then Rita agrees with them, so they make the Hydro Hog monster grow, and then the alien Rangers fight the Hydro Hog monster in the Shogun Megazord. Oh, but before I continue, I just want to backtrack here to the part with Rito and Zed and Rito and Goldar. Basically, Zed realized that back in the palace that he's like, oh no, we forgot to tell Rito and Goldar to grab the completed Zeo Crystal before destroying the command center. And then basically Rita tells Fenster to find out where Rito and Goldar are so that she doesn't have to look for them, and then they go, and then he says that he'll look for them right away, and then this goes into the segment with Rito basically because they find, after they place the last piece of the implosion device, that's when Rito makes a little bit of a joke where he's like, what do you say, Goldie? Should we make like bananas and split? And then Goldar's like, for once, I agree with you. And then Rito says that it had to happen sooner or later, so he activates the device. And then this leads into the next scene because by this point, Rita then shows up. And that's when Rito wonders what she's doing there. And then Rita tells him, I came to stop you from activating the implosion generator. You haven't activated it, have you? And then Goldar tries to explain that they have, but Rito tells them that she isn't nothing to worry about because it's okay. He's basically lying, but in this case, his reason for lying is justified. What I mean by that is, it's no harm done in this case. I'll explain why when I get to the segment with Rito and Goldar when they're on their own. Basically what happens is, after that, Rita tells them that Zed wants, she's like, good, Zed wants you to hold on destroying the palace, on destroying the command center until the Zeo Crystal is fully formed. Then you grab it and take it back to the palace. And then Goldar wonders when the Zeo Crystal will be complete, and then Rita, all she tells them is she'll let them know, and then she tells them, like, if you screwed this up, don't bother coming back. Oh, and then basically Rita leaves, and then basically Rito says that was close, and then Goldar gets a little bit agitated with him, because why didn't he tell her that they already activated the device? But then Rito is acting kind of calm about it. He's like, what's the big deal? All we gotta do is grab the Zeo Crystal before this thing goes off, and we're golden. Oh my god, I'm sorry, but that's so hilarious. Because all they got... So technically, it's no harm done that Rito didn't tell Rita that they already activated the device, because if they can grab the Zeo Crystal before it goes off, it's still gonna be a job done. Of course, they gotta wait for her, but the problem is they gotta wait for her to tell them when it's complete. I think that's why Goldar was getting a little agitated with Rito when he mentioned them about him not telling Rita that they already activated the device. And then basically, now I'm gonna get back into what I was mentioning before. I just wanted to backtrack to that part there, since I sort of skipped over it. I didn't mean to skip over it, it slipped my mind. Anyway, as I was saying, Rita and Zed then make the Hydro Hog monster grow, and then the alien Rangers fight it in the Shogun Megazord, because as one of them stated in the previous part of this two-part season finale, their battle bugs had never been able to defeat the Hydro Hog, so that's why they were using the Shogun Megazords for this battle and stuff. And then they start fighting the Hydro Hog in the Shogun Megazord, and then they try to use the Shogun Megazord's Fire Saber for its final attack to destroy it, but then the Hydro Hog blocks it, and he's like, "Nuh-uh, you don't get to win like that this time. Face it, Rangers, I've got you locust." And then he manages to knock the Shogun Megazord's Fire Saber out of their hands, and then that's when the Ninja Megazord comes in and knocks the Hydro Hog away, causing him to explode. So basically, the Alien Rangers have finally defeated the Hydro Hog, and then basically Rita and Zed get upset that the monster was destroyed. Now, but they can still sort of win, because all they gotta do is wait for the Zeo Crystal to be finished. And then basically what happens is, now I'm gonna get into the segment again with Aiesha and Tanya. After Aiesha, you see at this point Aiesha has decided to stay in the past in order to find a cure for the plague that's affecting the animals. So she decides to give Tanya her fragment of the Zeo Crystal and pass the power onto her, and to complete it and stuff. And when Ishala hears that part of it, she was wondering if they're sure that this is the right thing for them to do, and then they both say that it is, and then Aiesha said that they gotta take this back to where Tanya first found it, and then basically Ishala is telling them safe journey, and then basically then Zordon is telling Alpha to locate Aiesha on the viewing globe, and then basically they manage to locate her, locate her through time using the viewing globe, and then basically what happens is, when the other Rangers see her, they wonder who's with her, and then they go to the segment of Africa in the time period where Aiesha was normally supposed to get picked up, but Tanya is this time, and then basically Tanya's wondering if she will fit in with the other Rangers, and what if they will like her, and then she says that like her just as much as she did. And then basically that's when Zordon asks her, does she have the piece of the Zeo Crystal in her possession? And then when Tanya sees that, she wonders if that's Zordon. And then Aiesha explains that she's sending Tanya back to the present timeline with her fragment of the Zeo Crystal because she's decided to stay in the past with her knowledge of animals, and she's sure she can find a cure to the plague that's affecting the animals. And then that's when Zordon says that his instincts told him that this would happen with one of them, and he tells them that he tells her that he tells Aiesha goodbye and that they will miss her. And then she says that yes, it's okay. This is where she belongs and stuff. And then she's also saying that basically she's not saying goodbye to the other Rangers. She loves them and she'll always cherish them. And then basically, Tanya. And then that's when Zordon tells Aiesha that her decision to stay in the past has altered her family's timeline in history, and she will soon realize that they will be able to join her once the timeline is restored back to its original state. So in a sense, this is sort of a good thing. And then basically Tanya is saying, wondering if she should go, and then basically Zordon is telling her that Tanya that she has nothing to worry about, and that the power will protect her. And then Tanya says goodbye to Aiesha and that she'll make her proud. And then after she leaves, Aiesha said that she already has. And then that's when Tanya is in the command center and meets Billy, and then she's like, it must be Billy. And then she puts the final fragment of the Zeo Crystal into it, which causes time to reverse itself back to its original state, which turns the rest of the Rangers back into their current ages, and Tanya back into a younger age before it also affected Tanya, making her younger again, sort of. Younger to the point where she's still an adult, but in between like a teenager kind of thing. And basically, the other Rangers are wondering if she's okay. And Tanya says that after everything that's happened today, it's gonna take her a while to get used to things. And then Zordon tells Alpha to locate Aiesha again because they gotta make sure that she made it through the time transition well. And then they notice that she is there, and they say they said goodbye the first time before Tanya arrived. And then basically, after they returned back to their original ages, Zordon told them that it was now time for them to say goodbye to their other friends, which in this case is the Alien Rangers. And then Tommy says that they'll do it in person because it would work better that way. And then Alpha tells Tanya that they'd like her to stay behind to catch her up on a few details. And then Catherine said that because basically catch her up on a few details. And then Catherine tells Tanya that she'll be in good hands. And then the Rangers go to leave to say goodbye to the Alien Rangers of Aquitar, and then they say, till we meet again. Delphine tells them, till we meet again, Rangers of Earth. And Tommy tells her, till we meet again, Rangers of Aquitar. And then that's when basically Rito and Goldar are still underneath the segment of the command center with the implosion device, because the implosion device has been activated. And and it's running down on the time when it needs to explode. But that's when Rito tells them, like, alright, you numbskulls, go get the crystal, now! And then basically, Goldar says that finally, and then about time, and then Rito's like, ugh, geez, talk about cutting it close. And then they go to retrieve the Zeo Crystal, and then the funny thing is, when they go to retrieve it, first Alpha is just about to explain to Tanya about what morphing is, and then that's when they show up in the command center and then manage to steal the Zeo Crystal. And then basically what happens is Zordon is telling them that he orders Goldar and Rito to stop, and then Goldar said, we were just on our way out. And then Rito's like, and so the Zeo Crystal, ciao, baby! And then after that, the rest of the Rangers return, and then they're wondering what's happened, and then Alpha explains to them that Goldar and Rito have stolen the Zeo Crystal, and that's when the implosion device goes off, and then it causes these explosions to happen, and then Zordon is telling the Rangers to evacuate the command center, and then Adam says that they can't leave them, and then basically Zordon is insisting that Alpha teleport the Rangers now, and then I just want to mention something. Billy jumped on one of the consoles and that absorbed some energy. Now I'm just bringing that part up because it's going to lead sort of into what's going to happen with the plot line of the Zeo episode in the Gold Ranger saga. I just wanted to get that out of the way. And then after Alpha manages to teleport the Rangers away, he's saying, like, aye, Zordon, I don't know what to do, aye. And then the Rangers manage to get out, but after it explodes, and then Tommy's wondering if everyone's alright, and then Catherine says that she thinks so, and then she looks over at where Billy is, and then she sees Billy knocked on the ground, and then Billy sees that the command center is destroyed, and then he's like, no, please. And then basically, they're wondering what they can do, and if Zordon and Alpha made it out, and Tommy says that he doesn't know, but this could be the end of the Power Rangers, and that's basically where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video, just please give this video the real best you guys can, and I will see you guys probably sometime for the next Power Rangers video, which will be, that's it for this last video for season 3 of the original Power Rangers series, guys. The next video I do will be covering the Zeo Power Rangers series, which is season 4. So until season 4, guys, just please give this video the real best you guys can. And like I always tell you with this series, may the power protect you always.